A very warm good evening to all the esteemed educators present here, those who have taken out time on a weekend and have joined us today. I, Director Academics and Content, welcome you all in today's session that we are going to conduct in collaboration with Aerobay. Before I proceed further, just quick set of instructions to all our attendees today. I will request you all to kindly keep yourself on mute throughout the session. You can keep your videos on if that is suitable for you. And in case if you would like to share any inputs, any suggestions, any of your insights or ideas, the chat box is open. Kindly do share them. We will be asking the question to panelists, but we would definitely love to hear your views as well. There will be a certificate provided at the end of this session. The link for the same we will share 5 minutes prior to me summing up the session. And you can fill that feedback form, which is also going to be the link for your certificate issue. And once that is done, you will receive your certificates within 3 to 4 working days, tomorrow being Saturday and then Sunday. You should be receiving it in your inboxes by Thursday or Friday. So kindly just be a little patient with us about the same. And taking the evening forward, and for all the educators, those who are present here, I would just like to quickly introduce the team GSLC. The Global School Leader Consortium is a global community of school leaders started with an aim to facilitate the synergy of ideas among the schools across the boards for excellence in education. Mr. Pankaj Sharma as founder and CEO and Mr. Sunny Lalwani as co-founder and CPO have been constantly creating efficient spaces for offering services to bring about substantial changes in the education field. And we have been conducting lots and lots of offline events. We've had a lot of you who are currently present today as a part of those events and the webinars as well. And we have been hosting this series of webinar since 6th of September. This is the 3rd episode. And a partner for this series of discussion is Aerobay. To share with you all about Aerobay, as they say that our nation, proud nation, stands on the shoulders of our youngsters, and this new India is propelled by the fuel of its innovative entrepreneurs. And one such example in the field of education is Aerobay. Started by 4 passionate and aspiring edupreneurs, Aerobay stands at the brink of innovation and creativity, emerging as a flag bearer in the otherwise pale edtech market. The journey in the past 3 years is a testament that exemplifies growth and reach, which is nothing short of a miracle. From Shark Tank, Horses Stable, Best Startup Awards at AIM Dubai, Maharashtra State Innovation Mission to successfully impacting more than 120 schools and 25,000 students across India, Aerobay's wings have been spread elegantly. They provide STEAM-based experiential learning solutions to the K-12 ecosystem and a complete umbrella ecosystem for schools through the innovative lab setups, expert faculties, national and international competitions, certifications, and takeaway kits. And with a product-first approach, they integrate the school curriculum and cover skill subjects, NEP guidelines, on experiential learning, and even provide internship and entrepreneurship offerings to the students. And today we are going to discuss and have your views and insights come in on the topic which has been a discussion for the last almost a decade, which is exploring the skills, the skill route, the pathway for educational excellence. And for this session, I have with me my esteemed panelists. We have with us Mr. Pramod Sharma, Vice President, Genesis Global School, Noida. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today.
Thank you.
We also have Dr. Anju Mehrotra, Director, Khalka Group of Institutions. Welcome, ma'am. Joining ma'am, we have Dr. Manisha Sharma, Principal, Venkateshwara International School. We welcome you, Manisha ma'am. Thank you for joining us. And we have Mr. Gur Kesarai, co-chair, Satlaj Group of Schools. Welcome, sir, for today's session.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure to join this session, and I'm looking forward to sharing ideas and at the same time getting ideas from others as well. So thank you very much, GSLC, for organizing this event, online event.
Our pleasure. We also look forward to make the session an amazing one. And we, last but definitely not the least, we have Ms. Neha Chauhan, CEO and founder, Aerobay, as one of our panelists as well. Welcome, Neha.
Thank you so much, Pooja, and really looking forward to today's discussion. With such an esteemed panel on board, I'm sure we're going to learn a lot today. Thank you so much.
Sure. Pleasure. And the session will be moderated by me. And without wasting any further time, I would just like to quickly pose the first question to promote Sir. Sir, we have been talking about skills. We have, even nowadays, NEP has supported the skill development on a very large scale. But to set the tone for the evening and for us all to understand, what are the most critical skills that the students need today to excel in school as well as in life? And how do you think the schools can effectively integrate these skills into the curriculum? Because there is a lot of paradigm shift that the complete education fraternity and we as educators are facing. So what would be those critical skills according to you, sir? Over to you.
Thank you. When this topic was, I learned about it and I was thinking, to my mind, the most critical skill which came to my mind was communication. Because children must learn how to communicate, how effectively communicate, not only in writing and speaking, but also today's world is communicating with videos and with digital language. So all this includes communication, and that was, to my mind, the foremost skill that is the responsibility of the school to teach. But as I came nearer the time that you posed this question, the television is full of floods, excessive rain in May, June, excessive heat. So to my mind today, sustainability should be the foremost skill. And for children to be able to think about global warming and excessive rain, they need to acquire critical thinking skills and problem solving skills. So with the help of these, if they start applying their mind, they would be able to undo the mistakes that our generations and successive generations have made. Today's newspaper talks about that वो कूड़े का पहाड़ 33 साल में कम हो जाएगा. Just imagine, we are talking about being world power and global guru and whatnot, and we can't get rid, we do not have technology to remove the kude ka pahads which are all over the place. I think the children need to understand these issues, and children need to find the solutions. Children need to understand how the waste should be streamlined and how they should be recycling wherever it is possible. And all these solutions should come to today's generation and today's mind. To me, that is the most critical.
Thank you so much, sir. That was very briefly concluded that the very utmost important skill, or maybe it is more of an awareness as a human being, as a person, and as I would rather say a global citizen and being a part of this planet, is the sustainability. And once we recognize that, then understanding that what is happening around, how is the global warming taking place, and all this comprises of one thing, that is that the sense of responsibility and the belongingness. And this is what we need to imbibe into our curriculum. It might not be, it might seem that, okay, it is not that relevant or may not be taking towards any specific career paths, but I think it is the very baseline. It is the foundation for us to succeed in any career going forward. So thank you so much, sir, for so clearly bringing us that once we've understood the sustainability and once we are ready to communicate, understand how the communication can happen, because we've understood everything, but until unless it's not exchanged, the thoughts are not exchanged, the ideas are not exchanged, it shall serve no purpose. So thank you so much, sir, for setting the tone for the day and giving us that direction. And now I would like to move ahead with my next question to my next panelist. Anju ma'am, so we, sir, also brought out the idea of critical thinking and analyzing. So what role should creativity and critical thinking play in shaping a student's skill set? And how do you think we educators can foster these skills from an early age amongst our learners? Over to you, ma'am.
So very true. I believe, we are talking about the 21st century skills. And as mentioned, communication is very important. But at the same time, these two C's, what we see, creativity and critical thinking, because they go hand in hand. And at the same time, I believe that they are complementary to each other. And we find that they are very much interconnected. And they also form the basis, for the higher order cognitive skills, which becomes very, very important. And especially in the present scenario, when we see that the children are exposed, too much to, say, social media and their surroundings, wherein a lot of challenges being posed to them, they cannot get away with those challenges. So it becomes very important that how they are going to respond. I would not say to react to that situation, but to respond to certain things, which they see in and around themselves. So it becomes, say, a prime duty, and the moral duty for we, the educationists, how to really sensitize them about their surroundings. At the same time, to make them think critically, certain things, because it all depends how they can enhance their problem solving skills, how they can, ignite their minds, and how they can think beyond the, out of the box. So all these things are very much interconnected. Now the point arises that they have to have certain kind of, say, approach, wherein they are, we as, again, the educators, we are able to expose them to the real life situations. They need as what we say, that paradigm shift has taken place. This is the shift from the text, to the real world. So they need to be, exposed to the real life situations, something what is very, very important for them to learn, right? At the same time, to unlearn and also to relearn. So the point arises that they should be resilient. They should understand about their surroundings, right? And at the same time, critically found, they should be able to find some effective solutions to the problems. We talk about the project-based learning also. At the same time, we say that the children have to do a lot of research work. And they must also, that not just about the shadow careers, but they should also learn, that when they go, and especially they see the present day or the contemporary career options which are available, how much critical thinking that requires, because it is not just thinking and responding to a situation, but also at the same time, to ignite your mind and to have, the scene or something which the children, they learn and enhance their skills. So enhancing skills through the projects, through, say, critical thinking, because they will be able to see the things, from multiple angles. And they will also be able to get the solutions from different angles. And that will be possible only when they know that critical thinking and creativity, which is not going to come from anywhere outside. It is all within them. So thinking out of the box, coming up with the ideas. Ideas are very much existing. They are very much existing, but you need to channelize them. You need to really be original. Be original. Come up with new ideas, and the same ideas, they can be presented, in a different way to be more innovative, because it's a time of all about innovations. So what I believe is, that the great innovators, they always consider, they combine creativity and critical thinking, because they know how to, the old world perspectives, how to add on with the new ideas. So it is actually a combination of the traditional and the modern methodology. So the pedagogy needs to be little, shifted and changed according to our environment. And as what we say, that we need to catch them young. So it is very, again, it becomes very important that from the early childhood, from the early classes, from the elementary classes, we need to instill certain kinds of values. See, education, academics, everything will be taken care of. But it is the basic, the value system, the life skills, which will be everlasting, and which will actually be helping them, in building their characters. So when we build a house, we take care of each and every small, minute things, and take care of even the bricks and all. So when we are building a character, when we are building a personality, so those small bricks, small nitty-gritties, they have to be taken care of. So it is important, it becomes mandatory at that time, that we need to give them some kind of exercises, something, which is going to open up their mind, with something which is open-ended. We should not expect all the time that they will be coming up with what we expect. Open, and everything, when it is open, that would be accepted, and they will be able to deal with the complex situations as well. So they need to be put into different kinds of case studies with the reality. So the real life situation becomes very, very important, right? And because, opening our minds is not a cakewalk, especially, these are the closed chambers at times. So we need to open them up. Especially, we all had seen, after the COVID, when we all got so much used to, the social media and webinars and the online classes and everything. And the children had, they were not able to learn how to write. They were not writing it. So bringing them back, from those typing fingers to the writing fingers, it was a task for all of us. So we really took it that way, because that was, again, a challenge for we, the educators. So we took that challenge, and now we want to give them the basic life skills, which are going to help them, to prepare them for their life. So those challenges they should be able to take. So let's, take it this way, that they should be able to ignite their thoughts, because the positive thoughts are very, very important. So igniting their minds, once the mind opens, the road will be, of course, a little smooth, wherein we want that they should go on the untrodden road. But of course, the teachers, as the facilitators, they will be playing their role, showing them the critical, creativity and their critical thinking. And that's how, we'll be able to carve their path and show them the direction. That's what I feel.
Very true, ma'am. I, in fact, totally agree with you that we need to have that open mind. So I think as an educator also, first we need to open our mind and accept it, that that is the way today's learner is going to be. That learner needs to be given options. The learner wants to do it and experience and then learn. Our times were very different. But for us also, it being a shift. So first, once if we are open towards it, I think the learners will also have a very open approach. They also will be able to explore it further. And ma'am, you very categorically brought out the term, which is high order cognitive skills, and which is actually the need of the hour. Because we do understand, we have been doing LSRW, which is like has been the Bible till now. but there have lots and lots of things that have been come in, and we need to evolve. We need to keep changing things, and because the learner is changing very fast. I somehow feel that the generation gap nowadays is not from father, son, or mother, daughter. It is just 5 years. So you can
Very true. Very true. I agree.
that gap. So we also are evolving,
Yes.
but the evolution is, I
Because the
believe,
span of knowledge is, it's very short now. Today you
yes,
learn, it's not going to be there for lifelong with you. You need to upgrade yourself. So it is
correct.
upskilling actually.
True,
So
very true, ma'am. That's
yes, and
another
very challenging for us, for the educators, to keep pace with them because the children are very fast. Moment you learn something from them today, and probably they are, again they are little ahead. So you have to learn, keep learning, and keep, from ourselves also, and of course keeping the. So something what we can serve to them, in their platter is not basically, their what is there in their text, because that is available. These days, everything is available. So what they are expecting in the classroom is something different, something out of the box. So the teacher needs to relate all those things, with the real life. So they must know if they are learning Pythagoras, then how it is going to really help them in their life. So how to connect that? So text with the real life. That is where the creativity comes of the teacher and even for the students. If they come up with different ideas, most welcome. We should be ready to accept their ideas also. We should be
very,
welcoming their ideas.
very true.
That's
That
important.
yes, ma'am. The acceptance has to come in, and I think it has become now, as you said, we are facilitators, so it has become a co-learning process.
Co-learning process.
There is only
Yes.
not only one person who's teaching and one person learning. We both are learning at a different level, but yes, the learning is happening both the ways. And just also one thing also struck me, ma'am. You said that we definitely need to understand that there has to be a response and not a reaction, and that is where the mostly uh, the biggest obstacle that we face right now is, one, we're not able to understand when to respond, and immediately our everything is more reactive rather than we responding to the situation, which will definitely come in as soon as we give them lots and lots of situational awareness exposure, and they understand what is happening there and how they can come up with different kinds of solution. And a very it was a bit of an experience that I also faced, and my sister also who's teaching, is that when you said that after corona happened, so from that keypad fingers we had to come back to the writing fingers. And I remember she stating one of the incident where she would say the child was just swiping in the notebook. So
Yes.
she asked, what are you doing? She said, I'm trying to
Yes.
swipe up the text, but it is not happening.
Very
So
true.
that
Very
is
true.
also happens. So that shift also the children are facing, but I'm sure we are going way forward only. So thank you so much, ma'am, for giving me so much of food for thought for today.
Yeah.
And now I would like to move to my next panelist, Manisha, ma'am. And ma'am, continuing the same conversation, we've understood that the educator is a facilitator, but then the role of parents also comes into the picture. And keeping that thing in mind, my next question is for you. So how can the educators and parents collaborate? Because without collaboration, no process can happen. So how can they collaborate to create a supportive environment that kind of encourages students to pursue excellence, both like in academics also and in life skills as well? So how can that collaboration happen? Over to you, Manisha, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we are very fortunate to have such veteran like Pramod Sharma sir, Anju Malhotra ma'am, and so many others thought leaders also. So I'll start and pick up from what sir said: sustainable development or communication skills, creative thinking skills. Anju ma'am said critical thinking skills, right? All these skills are very, very important. And of course, we can only do it along with the help of parents also. So how parents can help, that is a very, very big question. How can they be groomed? How we can make them more participative in everyday learning? Collaboration is the key of this century. See, without collaboration, cooperation, team building, this is not possible. Before I go to parents, Pooja, I would just like to discuss something. What is the scene like of education climate nowadays? Whether you take any economic times, any newspaper, Hindu, You just read the skill gap. There are many labors, but there is a deficit of skills. So is there any really gap between college and school? What we need to do it? What should be percolated? What is required 10 years ahead? What should be groomed children there? And of course, with the help of parents that rightly said, even we take it India as a very fifth number giant, growing fastest economy. And when we're talking of economy, we really need those skills in children, which we need to groom them. What kind of an entrepreneurship program we are providing, what kind of skills we are providing. Of course, I'm coming to life skills also, but there's so many skills which they really need. It is, as Anju ma'am said, right, it is not the course content or anything which they required, whether it's the sustainability, responsibility, that is also a skill that they must have it, or the communication with wit, intelligence, responsibility, that is the communication. It is not the verbosity, it is your intelligence and wit and intellect which comes. So when we require it, when we have understood what is the requirement in the school climate, because it is the truth that 11, 12 students hardly come to school. They're no more willing to come to school. There is so much coaching culture which is thriving everywhere. So this is the school where we are trying to hone, embed, and integrate skills in children. What is the responsibility of the parents? What are we doing that? That is very, very important. All life skills. Maybe after class 12th, the child will not be able to get 90%. But if we have provided him and equipped him with certain skills with the help of parents, maybe he will be a job provider to many. And many children, even after class 10th, 11th, and 12th, entrepreneurship, apparel, manufacturer. What is India required nowadays? It is the manufacturing. Do we have the manufacturing unit of aeroplanes? Do we have such skills in children? How are we providing in school? That is very, very important. And there comes the role of parents. What is our in-school program, outside school program? Are we clear with that? How do we require parents to really help us to embed in that, where online or offline programs are going there, where we are doing team building, leadership, and all the C's are there. Resilience is there, which is very, very important, required, because this is the age of 2 minutes noodles or instant coffee, where this children require instant gratification. Isn't it so? So it is very important to, with the help of parents. Now, how to make parents participate and be the equal partners? That is $1 million question. And I'm sure that every institute is trying their best, every organization, that how to involve maybe the school activities to the organizing the workshops, maybe involving community in so many ways, because parents have to be the equal partner. In-house program you can run successfully, but outside school program, which I always say, in school program and out of school program, you need to share out of school programs, the SOPs. What are your expectations for parents? What are the implementations with the parent? How many times you are sharing with them the Google questionnaire? What is their feedback with that? That reflective exercise is very necessary, because teachers and educators cannot do alone anything. It is their children are here for 6 hours or 7 hours. Out of school, they are either in the coaching centers or with the tuition teachers or with some classes. So where the scope of skill development, how are we allowing children to take their own decisions? Children are not able to think whether to go this restaurant. Sometimes they do ask which clothes to wear. From smallest to the largest, micro planning and macro planning, it is very important where parents do help our children. How are the platform they're providing their children out of the school? I'm not talking about in school. In school, we have a whole lot of programs where we give opportunity children to hone their skills directly or indirectly via pedagogy, embedding so many activities in collaborative manner, in cooperative activities, where children are doing independently. They are being observed, they are being noted also, and they have been given feedback also. This is how you should do it. Maybe any skills, whether it comes to their any critical thinking, creative thinking, the team building, decision making, you name it, any skill. Resilience, I make it a very important skill, which is very social skills, which are absolutely missing. Patience, perseverance. But out of school program, parents have been given the clear outline to parents when they're joining your institute. So that has to be given to them. They should be more participative. Then there are a whole lot of things are there, which is there in the market. We should really allow them to participate. The more they participate, and of course, not interfering agency, but holding hands of the school together. That is very, very important. Not every time in the WhatsApp group, you are just taking out the school or doing some meaningless discussion. It is how actively, how productively you involve parents. They become the agents. I mean, we invite them for conducting workshops. Of course, judging the event is a very simple thing, or doing so many activities in the school. But how can they actively involve in the internship of the students also, where they become the partners when we want children to upskill them? Suppose if I want to become the dentist, do I ever visited and spent 10 days with any dentist? Then I get to know whether my interest is there or not. So those kind of skills are very much required. Entrepreneurship skills, that is very much required. And I'm sure when we take help with a clear agenda and clear guidelines in our SOPs, the parents are always there to help us. And of course goes the emotional and counseling, and so many skills are there, which if I'll start talking, I think the session will be short of that. So this is how I can say my word. Thanks.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Definitely, the role of parents cannot be denied. And as you mentioned, the involvement has to be on a concrete basis. It would not just mean maybe responding to the messages, or if I can be that upfront with that, just going to the PTMs and giving your feedback, yes, this is to be done, and I do everything on time. This also brought me to a thought that we always talk about stakeholders. If we all are stakeholders, and we all are equal stakeholders. So we've got teachers, we've got students, we've got parents, and then we have management and the environment around, because the environment also plays a huge
Very important role, very important role. And the environment outside the school or inside the school. Inside the school, the teachers and the principals, they are responsible, the entire team.
Correct.
Everything, support staff and everything, right from your outer reception to everything. So every single unit is very important.
True, ma'am. So when they all come together, and you mentioned without collaboration, co-creation, unless we are not all on the same page, we will not be able to develop that path where the students can actually progress. It will always be a confusing zone where they would not know where to go and what to do. I feel somehow even the students nowadays are confused. The parents would want to put them in coaching. The schools are saying that yes, we can do it. So the confusion is definitely
This is
there.
Pooja, I'm sorry, this is a very major problem.
Yes.
Bringing class 11th and 12th students as a regular students coming day. So
Correct.
we talk about their emotional state, mental health issues are coming because of this. That's very, very important. When we talk about life skills, the emotional intelligence, the empathy, the mental health, the wellness, that's very, very important. And that can be only then when they allow to do their outdoors games, sports are equally important. We should not deprive children from their schooling, which is so important. They cannot be just from class 8 going to the coaching houses, and just we are depriving anything which is very, very important for the growth and the development. We talk about holistic development, but what holistically we are doing, that is $1 million question.
Yes, ma'am. And that is also one of the thought that has been put in the chat box. And you also, ma'am, it also brought me a thought where you mentioned that if we are talking about internships, I have personally believed, and I have experienced it also, and I'm very sure all of the educators would resonate with me, is that the parents are the biggest resources that a school or the education can have, because they come from different fields. They come with different assets. They come with their own set of skills. So we can utilize those skills. That is the way we need to collaborate. That is the way we need to make the learning broader perspective for the students. And I think even when we are having the discussions, that is one step towards the collaboration that is happening. So thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing those inputs with us. And to take the conversation forward, and we have one question which I'll be taking in the end of the discussion. My next question I would like to ask to Sarai sir. Sir, we have been discussing about all the different aspects. We've discussed about the role of the parents, role of creativity and critical thinking, and establishing skills. So what does the future of education look like when it fully embraces skill development as a core focus? And how do you think can we start building that future today and progress towards it? Over to you, sir.
Well, first of all, I would like to say we've had some great suggestions and we've had some great thoughts from our previous educators. And I'm just going to build upon that. There was a lot of talk about the importance of communication. There was also mention about social and emotional development. There was also mention of developing skills of resilience, high order thinking skills. Gone are the days that passive learning was there. Now learning is very much interactive and so forth. So, and teachers are facilitators. Now there's been a lot of things mentioned previously. I know we are dealing with, currently we're dealing with Gen Z, then we are going to be dealing with Gen Alpha. Now, if you look at the outlook of Gen Z, this is a generation where less is more. You give them a lot of information, they find it very difficult to process that information. So we have to be, where does this all lie? Now, the responsibility of all of it, quite rightly, lies with the school, because all these social, emotional development, the development of communication, this is not going to happen magically. Someone has to teach these skills, and it starts right from the early stage, which is at the foundation stage, and then it moves on block by block till children leave +2, then of course later on to colleges and universities. But in the foundation stage, particularly in the early year stage, in primary education, that's where a lot of these foundations are laid. So it's very, very important that these skills are taught. Now, how would you teach these skills? Of course, there's different ways of going about it, but there should be opportunities for discussion within the class. There should be opportunities for role play. There should be opportunities for high order thinking skills where teachers are facilitators. They ask those kind of questions with children, their creativity. There was talk about innovation. So all these skills come out, because these skills are not going to come out magically if they are not taught within the school. And goes without saying, then you need teachers who need to adapt. Of course, COVID has taught us a lot. When there was no books, children were not physically present at school. Teachers did an amazing job by teaching through online classes. Now they had to adapt and they had to change, which clearly shows that we do have a generation of teachers who are very flexible and they are very happy to adapt and innovate according to the situation. Now, the situation we have is Generation Z and Generation Alpha. So we need to adapt our teaching. As I said earlier on, we are facilitators now. Quite rightly, gone are the days when teachers could spend about 30 minutes talking in a lesson and children were learning passively. These days, you only start a discussion. A teacher only teaches for 5 minutes, and majority of the time is involved in discussion and working independently. So children get the opportunity to showcase their talents. Now, that's not going to happen in a classroom where a teacher is teaching for 15, 20 minutes, because then you're not giving those opportunities for children to develop. And one of the biggest things Gen Z and Gen Alpha faces is resilience. So it's very, very important that the skills of resilience are taught. And we should actually teach these children that it's okay if you have failed, because failures build to successes. If you haven't had the opportunity of a failure, then how can you succeed in something? And on the other side, flip side, is success. If you are successful, how do you handle that success? That is a skill in itself. So those skills need to be taught. And it goes without saying, one of the biggest things we need to focus on is communication, and communication to a wide range of audience through different mediums. As Mr. Sharma mentioned earlier on, communication is a big part, and it is very important for us as educators that we give children the opportunity to communicate in different ways. I know the National Education Policy has given us the agenda to do so, but we need to build upon that and implement it effectively and ensure that we're doing that in classrooms. So that is the way forward, because AI is playing a big part, and it will further play a big part in our world. How to use AI effectively. Now that's a skill in itself, and that skill has to be taught in classrooms. And of course, the relationship with parents, because we are dealing with a generation of parents, particularly for Gen Z and particularly Gen Alpha, where even parents need guidance as to how to support their children. So it's very, very important for schools, schools play a big role in actually educating parents and organizing workshops and so forth, so that parents can actually deal with their children more effectively. So quite frankly, a lot of things were mentioned, and I think we do need to change with times, as I mentioned earlier on, and we do need to change the way our classrooms are. And we have to embrace digitalization, we have to embrace AI and use it effectively to ensure that our generation of children succeed globally. Because I'm not looking at children from India, I am looking at children from India who are the global citizens of the world. So it's important that we teach them the skills which helps them to succeed globally.
Very true, sir. We definitely are in the generation right now, which has not restricted itself to one country or one state. There is a lot of globalization that has happened, even in the learning teaching process. And as you mentioned, that the parents also need that guidance, and that is so true. That nowadays they also need the guidance as to how to handle, rather than handling, how to help their children more, and so that their learning process becomes an easy one for them. And I think it is, as we mentioned earlier, and it has been really coming up in this discussion again, is that we all need to co-learn. We need to keep learning together and progressing forward. So also a very important aspect that you brought out is that we need to make friends with the technology. Because the children nowadays are living, breathing, eating, learning, doing everything with the technology. So we also need to change, because change is the only constant.
Yeah. And can I also add to that?
Sure.
As educators, we need to be outward thinking. And I'm very grateful to platforms like GSLC and all the different platforms where you meet educators from around India, from around the world, and we learn from each other. Because gone are the days where schools could actually work in isolation. Those days are gone. Now this is all about creating those networks, working collaboratively with each other and sharing ideas with each other. And that is the only way forward, because then that supports our children in our schools. So it's very important to have that outward thinking and be open to learning. Learning is a lifelong process, and one must adapt and change according to the situation and the need of the hour.
Yes, sir, definitely. And thank you so much, sir, for kind of bringing forward and highlighting the ethos that GSLC follows. As you mentioned, that collaboration and co-learning. We try to bring in all the educators, all the stakeholders on one platform, so that they can discuss and they can share. And I will definitely take this opportunity to mention the conference that is coming up in Chandigarh on 5th of October, because the theme is the same. It is the confluence of point of views, because until unless we do not collaborate and we do not discuss our different point of views, we will not be able to find the best solution forward. So thank you so much, sir. I definitely have
one little thing. I just want to share one example from my life.
Sure.
When I studied at Lancaster University, UK, one of the best teachers I had was Professor Harry Gray. And what I liked about Professor Harry Gray, each time in his class, he never gave us clear guidance as to what to do, but he started a topic of discussion. And that discussion took 1 hour. But within that 1 hour, learning from different people, sharing your views, taking on board views from different people, you learned a lot. And I did not realize, I only realized at a later stage that within that so much learning was taking place. So he was talking less, but he made us talk more, and that was very engaging. So as teachers, we need to talk less and let our children talk more. Of course, it has to be disciplined and the environment has to be tight, otherwise the discussions can go all over the place. That is something as facilitators we need to manage, but we should give our children the opportunity to talk in class and actually discuss. That's how the high thinking, critical skills, the high order thinking skills are going to come in. And that's how children will be thinking critically. So I just wanted to add that. Thank you very much. And I'm sorry I took a little bit longer than the time allocated to me.
On a lighter note, I think Pooja is doing the same task, making us learn and being involved in the discussion and summarizing and consolidating everything.
Yes, and I think now what I need to do is, as mentioned, less is more. So I will talk a little less, and I'll pose my next question to Neha. Thank you so much, sir, for such amazing inputs.
You're
And
welcome.
we move forward towards our next panelist. And Neha, you yourself have been a student. So can you help us understand that how can students themselves take charge of their own skill development, and how can they also get involved in this process and help the other stakeholders help them? So over to you, Neha.
Right. Thank you, Pooja. First of all, I would like to mention it was a really mind-blowing, lovely discussion where we literally touched down all the important parts, whether it's talking about co-collaboration with different industries or life skills. Pramod sir also in the beginning, I think, gave a very beautiful example of waste management. Manisha ma'am, Anju ma'am also talked about the project-based learning. So I feel these are the discussion is happening exact right or pointers that if we actually start implementing it stepwise, I feel the whole idea of this STEM education and bringing experiential learning ecosystem to the school can become very, very successful. Now, coming back to your question, I feel in the past decade, as I always say, I've been part of all three different sectors. I was a postgraduate student in London studying aerospace engineering. Then I went into very heavy corporate structure working, with GE Aviation. And then one day I decided to turn full-time entrepreneur and come back to India and start my own organization, which can actually, and the whole idea was this organization is to add on the pointer into the education segment, which I did not get while throughout my learning journey and working with different corporate structure. And, I feel students themselves, they are very fast in adapting the opportunity as long as we provide them a way in terms of how exactly we do it. If we are talking about skills, as we already discussed in this panel, I feel two processes are very, very important: the project-based learning and utilization of industrial expertise and technology into our curriculum. I'll just give you a small example. When I was, my 3 years tenure with NASA, when I was working over there, so it was a very huge project. The aircraft name is N3X. It's still not out yet. It's an electric propulsion aircraft. They're planning maybe it's going to take another 5 years. And I was shocked. It took me 7 years, some 4 or 5 rejection in interviews to land that job. And there were students from 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th standard who were already part of that project. So someone was working on the environmental side of it, like how about if we use hydrogen as a fuel instead of, the normal fuels which is available to us. There were students who were more, focused on aesthetically how it's going to look good, pleasing. Seats should be comfortable. There were some students who were working on the, as I mentioned, the technology side of it. So there were different students, and all of those students were there. All of them were not from the science background. They were the commerce students also who were working actually the costing and feasibility of that particular project. And it was so surprising to me that, they are doing much effective job than any one of us who got hired through graduate schemes as a fresher were doing over there. And they were like really smart. And because students, they, at that particular age, they have nothing to lose. They are still learning, they are growing, and you put them in any particular environment and you see how confident they are, and they try to get on an ND problem statement and try to figure out all the solution. Realize this is brilliant. If it can happen in this one particular organization with one particular R&D department, it can happen anywhere. So when we came back to India, we decided, when the day we're going to start working with student and create this experiential learning ecosystem, this is how it should be. We just need to provide the first pathway to the student. As Anju ma'am was also mentioning that, for example, if they are application of it, for example, if they're studying like they're studying about sine theta, cos theta, all of this concept inside the book, where do you apply it? What do you do with that sine theta in real life? Or is it like whole life you're never going to use it? For every particular concept, there has to be a real life application, and that's how we try to deal with the student. We say, okay, we've studied about angles and measurement. I'll give you a problem statement. For example, drop an egg from third floor. It should not break. Give that problem, those kind of problem statement to student, and you will see there are 10 students in the room. They are going to come up with a 10 different solution to it. And in the first step, when they come up with a 10 different solution, I feel then maybe we can take them, held their hand, and give them a real life opportunity, maybe co-collaboration with some kind of industry. Like I'll give you a very small example. So when student works on this problem statement, we try to connect them with different startups, because startups are the best, environment where one person is never doing one job. Like they are the salesperson, they are that tech team, they are the CMO, they are everything, and when I connected these students with this startup, like one of the most recent one, day I think came on the Shark Tank India also, Nirmalya, or so they make the incense stick, they convert the raw material, this raw flowers collecting from temple. They could never figure out what to do the jewelry we collect from the temple. You can't recycle those things, right? And they gave it to our student, and our student came out with such a wonderful idea that, let's melt it and use it as a 3D printer filament. So, I mean, that is brilliant. So I feel these 2-3 steps which we are already talking about, if we actually just do the hand holding of them and give them the first step, they're already good enough, they're smart enough, they'll be able to execute it. And similarly, parents will also understand. They'll understand, it is not enough to send 11th, 12th, and it is not okay, actually. I won't say enough. It is not okay to send their child for 3 years, 4 years in coaching institute. And because school is the place, it's a very, very important place, while we are growing and learning. If somebody asks me, I don't even remember how fast my university went and all of those things, but it's been a while since I graduated from school, but I still have those memories. I still remember my teacher's name and, my physics teacher name. They gave me a piece of advice when the first time I said I want to go to London, I want to study. So those memories I feel very, very important. And creating that ecosystem inside the school is very important. Once we have it, I think we'll be able to achieve our goal, and then student will have those much needed 21st century skills. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Great, Neha. So this was definitely coming right from a student's perspective, because Neha has been dealing with students as well, and she's had her own learning journey. So I think all the students in need here is a hand holding, and as we have been discussing, that they need that exposure, and for that they need for us to believe in them. They need us to understand that there can be different career paths, the unconventional ones as well, and they are not too young to learn anything. We think that we have decided those age bars, age brackets for them, but they can surprise us. They can learn anything, anytime, and can also have the sense of responsibility and belongingness. So thank you so much, Neha, for sharing your inputs and bringing in the thoughts that students would have to help them develop these skills. Now I'll come to the second round of this discussion, and it is going to be like almost a rapid fire question round. So I'm going to pose the same question to all my panelists here. The question for all the panelists here is that, as a learner, which skill would you like to sharpen to achieve excellence? So I would just like you to name that one skill that you would like to sharpen as a learner. So Pramod sir, what would be your skill?
Am I heard? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So Neha beautifully talked about ecosystem. And before that, the speakers, if I read between the lines, there is a problem of attendance in grade 11, 12, 10, etc. So I think it all emanates from the kind of ecosystem you have created. Does the ecosystem have scope for entrepreneurial skills? Do the children are running some shops, some company, some business they are doing? Is there a design and technology law lab which can, bring in their best and their creative thinking skills can bring in? So I think these are developing and thinking and ecosystem in a school should be the best.
Oh, great, sir. Yes, sir. We need to have that setup. We need to have that place where they can develop this skill. But if I were to ask you, what would be that one skill that you would like to develop as a learner, sir?
क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग स्किल्स एंड शास्त्रार्थ की परंपरा जो हमारे यहाँ होती थी, वेयर वी कैन आर्ग्यू विदाउट quarreling. This we must teach our children.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Beautiful, sir. Yes, Anju ma'am, what would be that one skill?
I feel, Neha has given a very young vibe to the whole discussion, and
Yes.
this is something, what we were really expecting. I feel that, we must make our children as lifelong learners, right? The curiosity and imagination is something which is very important. Do not kill their curiosity, because every child is born curious. But by the time, they reach their adolescence, I think we are responsible that we kill their curiosity, but that should remain. So what we say that, that the child within you should always be alive. So this is something what we really need to, learn, and of course give to our children also. So let's be the lifelong learners, be imaginative and curious to learn. Once you are open to everything, perhaps you have really won the challenges. Yes.
Great, ma'am. So ma'am has given us curiosity. Manisha ma'am, what would be that one skill that even you would like to learn?
So I'll say what my previous speakers shared their thoughts. Of course, combination of analytical and exploration, that is very, very important. Unless until they research, take risk, it is very important and analyze and think and reflect. So combination of all this.
Oh, great. So everything has to come together. It's like a whole
explore, research, taking risk. That's very, very important, and analyze it.
Great, ma'am. So Sarai sir, what would be that skill that you would like to propose?
Well, I would say respect yourself and respect others. And the reality is, you can only take ideas from other people. If you need to share your ideas, but at the same time, someone else who gives you an idea is not a bad idea. So you need to have that skill of adaptability, take ideas and share ideas. And if you look at our so-called platform, what we've got today, we're actually all sharing ideas with each other. And of course, we're sharing ideas with our audience as well. But at the same time, we're learning from each other as well. We are accepting ideas for me, this has been a great learning journey. And I think it's very, very important to have those skills of lifelong learning, as what the previous, what do you call it, panelists have said. So for me, respect yourself and respect others.
Great, sir. It is like you give respect, you get respect. And we need to understand that, as you mentioned, all suggestions are good suggestions. They might not be suitable, but they would not be wrong. Correct. So beautiful thought. Neha, what would be that one skill?
I think everybody has very beautifully sum up all the pointers, and I think all of these sum ups have everything very beautifully. The lifelong learnings and acceptance of ideas which we hear and experience through our surrounding. All those things are very, very important. If we talk about what skill I feel I would have learned more, I think, and it is very important also a little bit about financial management, financial literacy also. also, because money is a very taboo subject apparently in our society. But as an entrepreneur, as an engineer, I always focused on the technology segment of it. And then we realized, understanding, because if you understand money and manage it well around you, you can also transfer the same kind of knowledge to other people, especially the young kids around you, so that they respect that, thing, and understand how powerful or how what all you can do with it if you use it in a right way. I think that's what I missed during my educational and my working journey. I never focused too much on it because I thought, okay, fine, there is no particular subject related to it, so I don't have to do it. But that's when I will improve. I'm still learning. Whenever I see lots of podcasts and I see many things, happening around it, I still try to learn, and whatever I learn, I try to pass on to the people around me, whether they are student or my colleague. So that would be the one skill I would more polish in myself. Yeah.
Great. And that is definitely a very important one, because there are lots and lots of adults who also are not very good at financial management. And that is one thing that we also, like in Forge also specifically, there are times when people have not been very aware of the ideas. The wives are not aware what is happening around. And if at an early age we understand this, I think these are few of the life-saving skills. In fact, I'll say financial literacy is not just learning about the finances. It can be at times very supportive towards a healthy lifestyle. We also have our audience pouring in their skill sets as well. We've got adaptability. We've got critical thinking, decision making. We have Sunita ma'am saying clarity of mind, knowing who you are and what you want to do, respect yourself, respect your elders. So such beautiful inputs coming in from our other educators as well. And with this, we come to the end of our today's discussion. However, I definitely would not want it to end so soon. We have overshot 5 minutes, but it has been an amazing journey. And if I am to sum up, I will try my best, and I hope I do justice to summing up this session, because there were so many of the takeaways. Is that first of all, understanding and taking the skill route in a collaborative manner, keeping all the stakeholders together. And when we talk about this, first of all, the training, we have also talked about bringing in the teachers, because we are the facilitators. So we do need to train the teachers, because if we tell everything to be done by the teachers, they are also overwhelmed. So we need to use the resources. The resources can be your parents, it can be the industry experts around, and why not use our own students? We've got 11, 12 students who can definitely teach something to the junior classes, and we've also got our students who've passed out, and we can bring them in again, sharing it. So the resource pool needs to be creative to carve that skill route, and just go from simple to complex, because that is what I have understood. And when we also take the sessions for life skills, is that starting from as simple as communication skills, and then going from life-saving skills, may it be CPR, may it be the first aid, even driving for that matter has become a life-saving skill now, towards critical thinking, decision making, and analyzing. So we just need to go simple to complex, step by step, as already discussed by our panelists here. And once we do that, I think we have drafted the skill route, the pathway towards excellence, in a very clear and comprehensive manner. So with this, I would like to thank all my esteemed panelists, those who have joined us, Pramod sir, Anju ma'am, Manisha ma'am, Sarai sir, and Neha. Thank you so much for taking out time on a weekend and joining us. And it was a pleasure to listen to all of you. And we had almost 70 plus participants here with us joining us today. So thank you so much, all the educators, those who joined us. And we have another session lined up on 27th of this month. So please do not miss that much. That is the 4th episode of our webinar series with the Aerobay. And we have a physical conference happening on 5th October for principals and school management in Chandigarh. So we would love to have you all on board with us in this journey. So thank you so much once again to all the panelists.
Thank you so
Thank you very
much,
much.
Pooja.
Thank
Thank you so much, everyone.
And Pooja, you are a super moderator.
Thank you, sir. You've always been very kind.
Thank you so much, Pooja. It's always a pleasure to be with
Thank
you
you.
and be involved and engaged in discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank
Thank you very much, GSLC, and thank you very much, Pooja. It's been an honor. Thanks.
Pleasure, sir. Thank you so much. And a very good evening to all. The certificate link is already there in the chat box. In case if you're not able to open it, please do not worry. We will be sharing it on the email IDs through which you have registered with us. You will receive the certificates. In case if you still face any issue, just drop in an email. We will take care of it. As I mentioned, tomorrow and day after being the weekend, you will be able to receive these certificates by Thursday or Friday next week. Keep checking your spam folder as well. Good evening, Sarita ma'am. I can see
Good
you.
evening. Thank you so much. How are you, ma'am?
All good, ma'am. Pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Ma'am. Good evening.
Good.
As I mentioned, in cases there are any technical errors with the registration link, please do not worry. We will share them with you on the Gmail, on your email IDs as well. So thank you so much, Noreen ma'am. I just read your message. Thank you so much. I look forward to have you all once again with me on 27th evening, again sharp at 5 o'clock. We will be sharing the creatives and the details very soon. Nilansh, we can stop the recording.